Fumi's life began like the first drops of rain after a long drought, full of promise and hope. She grew up in a small village in Ogun State, Nigeria, surrounded by lush green farms and the comforting arms of her parents. They were farmers, hardworking and kind. Every evening, her mother would braid her hair while humming songs, and her father would tell her stories of their ancestors by the fire. Fumi's laughter filled the air as she played in the fields, chasing butterflies and dreaming of a bright future. But life can change in the blink of an eye. One fateful afternoon, while working in the fields, Fumi's parents were attacked by armed Fulani herdsmen. The sounds of gunshots echoed through the air as Fumi hid in the bushes, clutching a doll her mother had made for her. Tears streamed down her face as she watched her parents fall, their lifeless bodies staining the soil they had worked so hard to cultivate. At just 9 years old, Fumi's world shattered into pieces. She was taken in by her grandmother, a strong woman who did her best to shield Fumi from the pain. But the hole left by her parents' absence was one that could never be filled. Fumi grew up with a quiet strength, determined to make something of herself despite the tragedy that haunted her past. At 21, she met Hassan, a man who seemed like a beacon of light in a dark world. He was charming, with promises of love, stability, and a better life. Fumi fell for him, believing he was the answer to her prayers. They married quickly, and soon after, Fumi gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, whom she named Tunde. She was happy, or so she thought. But Hassan was not the man he pretended to be. Soon after the wedding, he began bringing men to their home, forcing Fumi to entertain them against her will. Her protests were met with threats and violence. She felt trapped, especially with her son depending on her. The marriage, which she thought was a sanctuary, turned into a living nightmare. One day, Hassan told her he had arranged for her to travel to Libya, where she could earn money for the family. Desperate to escape her situation, Fumi agreed, leaving her son in the care of her aging grandmother. But Libya was not the paradise Hassan had described. Upon arrival, Fumi realized she had been sold into prostitution. The man she trusted with her life had betrayed her in the cruelest way. The war in Libya made everything worse. The streets were filled with danger, armed groups, kidnappers, and the constant threat of violence. Fumi lived in fear, forced to endure unimaginable horrors. Yet she refused to lose hope. Every night, she prayed for a way out, clinging to the memory of her son and the promise of a better life. One day, Fumi saw an opportunity to escape and seized it. However, her freedom was short-lived. While crossing the desert, she was captured by human traffickers in Mali. There, she was once again forced into prostitution, enduring 2 more years of suffering and despair. During this time, she became pregnant after an encounter on the streets. Despite her circumstances, Fumi refused to leave the child behind when she gave birth to a baby girl she named Ayo, meaning joy, a glimmer of hope in her darkest moments. With Ayo in her arms, Fumi's resolve to escape grew even stronger. One night, she managed to slip away with her daughter, braving the harsh desert and evading her captors. The journey back to Nigeria was harrowing. She faced hunger, dehydration, and the constant threat of being caught. But Fumi's determination to reunite with her son and grandmother kept her going. Finally, after months of struggle, Fumi reached Nigeria. When she returned to her village, she fell to her knees, clutching her 2 children tightly. Her grandmother, though frail, welcomed her with tears of joy and open arms. Fumi's story of survival inspired her community. She vowed to use her experiences to advocate for women's rights and fight against human trafficking. Fumi started a small business, selling handmade crafts, pouring her pain and resilience into her work. She became a beacon of hope for others, showing that even in the face of unimaginable suffering, it is possible to find strength, rebuild, and rise again. Her journey was one of pain, heartbreak, and unimaginable trials, but also of resilience, love, and hope, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of a mother, fighting for a better future for her children